madalas pong binabanggit yung notices of disallowance. Para po sa akin, ito po ay mababaw na ground to constitute an impeachable offense. Delegated
The
power should
Honorable
not be
Marcoleta
delegated
is
further.
reminded to confine the manifestation to the subject matter of the impeachment
Opo,
proceeding.
this is pertaining to the...
This is not
the
about
envelope.
Quadcom. This is the impeachment proceeding on the 2 complaints against the Vice President. Please stick to the subject matter of this impeachment proceeding.
Hindi po ba may
If
kinalaman
you have
ito?
concerns about the proceedings of Quadcom, perhaps you should address it in the other forums, but not in the impeachment proceedings. The Honorable Marcoleta is so reminded
Opo,
to stick to the subject matter. Any other member who wished to manifest on
Madam-
the first ground? The Honorable
Madam Chair.
Marcoleta.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madalas pong binabanggit yung notices of disallowance and audit observation memo. Para po sa akin, ito po ay mababaw na ground to constitute an impeachable offense. Unang-una po, ang notices of disallowance ay appealable. They are contestable. Yung pong audit observation memo is just a memo issued by the COA for deficiencies in documentation not involving pecuniary loss. Ang notices of disallowance po ay pwede pang i-appeal ng Office of the Vice President sa regional level ng COA, sa commission proper ng COA, at pwede pang humantong sa Supreme Court. The notices of disallowance does not presuppose guilt on the part of the Vice President. It is not tantamount to a prosecution. Kaya wag po natin itong gamitin, itong mga dokumento na ito, as if meron ng ginawang kamalian ang ating Vice Presidente. Dahil dito po pumapasok yung procedural due process kung ito pa'y accorded sa ating Vice Presidente. At isa pa po, yung pong mga ginawa ng Quadcom nung nakaraang taon, yung pong pagbubukas ng mga envelope, I don't think yan po ay kasama sa trabaho ng Kongreso. Dahil ang pag-audit po ay trabaho ng COA. Kasi meron po tayong Latin legal maxim, potestas delegata non delegari. Delegated power should not be delegated further.
Reminded to confine the manifestation to the subject matter of the impeachment
Opo,
proceeding.
this is pertaining to the...
This is not
the
about
envelope.
Quadcom. This is the impeachment proceeding on the 2 complaints against the Vice President. Please stick to the subject matter of this impeachment proceeding.
But the envelope, yung opening of the envelopes, hindi po ba may kinalaman
If you have
ito?
concerns about the proceedings of Quadcom, perhaps you should address it in the other forums, but not in the impeachment proceedings. The Honorable Marcoleta is so reminded
Opo,
to stick to the subject matter.
yun lang naman po, Madam Chair, notices of disallowance. Ito po ay hindi mga dokumento lamang na ito ay appealable, contestable, at hindi ito nangangahulugan ng Vice Presidente ay may ginawa ng irregular dahil ito ay contestable. Yun lamang po ang aking obserbasyon. At ma'am, if I may react dun sa earlier remark made by the chair, I think I was alluded to kasi nagkaroon po ng spectacle kahapon.
The chair just adopted the manifestation of the Honorable Marcoleta yesterday during our determination of form.
Opo, yung pong I am speaking out of premonition. Actually, I am not speaking out of mere premonition. I was speaking out of experience.
But that's
Opo.
what the committee heard. Nevertheless, Honorable Marcoleta, this is likewise not a subject matter of this impeachment proceeding.
Opo, winawarningan ko lang po ang audience na to observe proper decorum. Wala naman po sigurong masama doon, Madam Chair, di po ba?
But of course, for as long as the public are not committing any offense inside this committee hearing, then there is no basis at all to call their attention or to even mention their name.
Okay, ma'am, pero nagkaroon po ng president kasi sa Senado. Salamat po.
Honorable De Lima, would you like to comment?
Very briefly lang po. Okay, the audit findings under the audit observation memorandum may be subject to appeal, appealable, and can still be questioned. But the fact remains that there are already evidence, there are already documentary evidence, kasama nga na po dito na naka-attach sa complaint, about those questionable disbursements, the use of confidential funds for not legal purposes, for confidential intelligence funds. So this committee, since it's scrutinizing now the very complaint before us, has the discretion and has the duty and the prerogative to do its own scrutiny and analysis of these documents, irrespective of any final COA finding. Of course, it is ideal that we should have the COA final finding, but the preliminary findings are already the red flags. The preliminary findings already show those acts constitutive of impeachable offenses. So it's not really a hindrance to this committee not to consider first those preliminary findings pending the final finding of the COA.
Let us be reminded as well that impeachment proceeding is a sui generis proceeding. This is not a criminal proceeding, neither is this an administrative nor a civil proceeding. The Honorable Zamora.
Madam Chair, with all due respect to our colleagues here, I would like to remind everyone about where we are at the stage of our proceedings. We are discussing the sufficiency of, in substance of the impeachment complaints, and as such, Rule 3, Section 5 of the House Rules on Impeachment Proceedings state that the requirement of substance is met if there is a recital of facts constituting the offense charge and determinative of the jurisdiction of the committee. So we have to confine ourselves within the four corners of the complaint to check if there is a recital of facts which will show the nexus, as the Honorable Laila De Lima has repeatedly said, with the impeachable offenses charge. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. The Honorable Vice Chair Dumogan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was about to point out, we are in the determination of sufficiency in substance. And as far as ground number 1 is concerned, it had been supported by complete narration of facts and even documents.
Vice Chair, speak closer to the microphone, please.
Is completely supported by narration of facts as well as certified documents. So, as far as I am concerned, so that we give due process as being claimed, we answer it in the positive so that later on, the respondent will be given the chance to explain. Because look, the confidential fund belongs to her office, and second, with respect to the disallowance, it will be only her if she did appeal that one or she did not. Because as far as the records is concerned, this was a long time that it did happen, and when the disallowance was issued in, we do not know of any appeal that had been done by the concerned respondent, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. The Honorable Arbison. Kindly turn on.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to make a manifestation regarding the definition of confidential fund.
Yes.
Confidential funds are lump sum budget allocation for government agency, specifically for surveillance, intelligence gathering, and security-related activities. These funds are designed for expenses that cannot be disclosed publicly to to protect national security, peace, and order, common use to include purchasing information, renting safe houses, and conducting undercover operation. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Would you like to comment, Honorable De Lima?
No need, Madam Chair.
The Honorable Padiernos, and then Honorable Erice, and then Honorable Degamo. Honorable Padiernos.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to make a few comments based on the observations of all of our committee members. So as mentioned by the Honorable Zamora, at this stage, we are merely looking at if there is a recital of facts constituting the offense. So at this moment, we are not weighing evidence or proof. And we only determine whether, first, the allegations are more than mere conclusions of law. Number two, the impeachment complaints specify acts or omissions attributable to the respondent. And number three, the acts fall within the constitutional grounds for impeachment as provided for in our Constitution. So yun po yung betrayal of public trust, treason, bribery, other high crimes, and so forth. So, just to ano lang po, for the consumption of our viewers, hindi pa po natin dinedetermine dito yung guilt ng ating impeachable officer. Hindi natin sinasabi na ginawa niya yon. In fact, parang ano po yan pag nag-file tayo ng isang complaint, criminal complaint before the prosecutor. So, we are here acting as prosecutors and checking if there's probable cause, in this case, to determine whether there is, at this moment, recital of facts constituting the offense charged. At sabi nga po ni Honorable Dumogan, meron pa pong opportunity ang ating impeachable officer to respond to this complaint. Hindi naman po na wala na po tayong due process, kumbaga. Bibigyan po siya ng pagkakataon to defend herself in this committee. Nevertheless, gusto ko lang pong mag-make an observation. So, as to ground one, assuming the allegations as pleaded for threshold purposes, the complaint alleges large-scale misuse and conversion of confidential funds in a manner that, if true, would plausibly constitute betrayal of public trust. Of course, minention din po yung labels ng plunder, malversation, and graft, and corruption. Pero tandaan po natin, itong mga crimes na to, may mga elements po yan that is provided under the law, and especially for mga malversation which is under the RPC, may mga requirement po yan na dapat may bad faith or criminal intent versus yung plunder, which is a special law, mala prohibita po, criminal intent is not required. So what I'm trying to say is, insofar as the crimes that were alleged, medyo, sabi nga po ni Honorable Rodriguez, medyo upon perusal of the complaint, borderline po yan. Hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na pwede pong impeachable offense. Pero, under betrayal of public trust, which is a catch-all phrase as given by under our jurisprudence, pwede po natin sabihin, pasok Pero again, we're not saying here that the impeachable officer committed betrayal of public trust. We're just determining now if kapag nalaman po natin na ginawa niya to, does it constitute that impeachable offense? So yun lang po, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. If there are, would you like to comment, Honorable De Lima?
Briefly, Madam Chair.
Yes, please.
Okay. Earlier, it was mentioned that we're acting here as prosecutors to determine probable cause. Not at this stage.
Yes.
Because at this stage, it's only the sufficiency of substance.
That's
Sufficiency in substance of of the complaint. Now, about the fact or the observation that some of the grounds, including graft and corruption and plunder, may not, as alleged, the facts as alleged, may not fall under those, but definitely would fall under betrayal of public funds. It's public betrayal of public trust. Now, it will be shown by the pieces of evidence that will be presented in proper time, that taken together, cumulatively, collectively, this can fall under those offenses or under those criminal acts of plunder and graft and malversation. As I mentioned earlier, when we talk about plunder, it's a series of acts of malversation of public funds. So we will see in the course of the evidentiary hearing that taken together, yung mga maglalabas po sa mga documentary evidence, most of them are here already, and also to be backed up by testimonial evidence, would show that the elements under those acts, plunder, malversation, graft and corruption, will be sufficiently established. So evidentiary, Madam Chair.
Thank you. The chair believes that we had ample discussion already of the first ground. So with the indulgence of the members, we will be proceeding to our determination or deliberation on the second ground. Let me read.
Madam
The second ground,
Can I reply to?
Honorable Suntay.
Yes, can I make
This is just a determination of sufficiency in substance. Would you like to reserve your opportunity to the succeeding grounds?
Madam Chair, before proceeding, just some additional points.
Because this is your first time for this first ground. Yes, you are recognized.
I just wanted to be clear that the signing of disbursement vouchers documents are not ministerial. People actually go to jail for basically just signing disbursement documents. No? People who are in the Sandigan Bayan today for many other reasons, because they had signed disbursement financial documents. So saying that it is a ministerial is not an actual defense. No? But secondly, on the point that COA had issued AOMs and NDs and are basically appealable, this is correct. But also, the documents contained in the AOMs and the NDs, the notices of disallowances, are also the body of evidence which constitutes the basis for the proceedings that we have today. And it needs to be reiterated that impeachment proceedings operate separately, independently of administrative proceedings of the Commission on Audit. So the statement that AOMs and even NDs are essentially appealable cannot prevent impeachment proceedings to occur and proceed as it should. Very important din po yung sa usapin po ng confidential funds, yung pong nexus doon po sa confidentiality ng use, no? Nung pong confidential funds at nabanggit na po, not just in this proceeding but in previous congressional proceedings, that ginamit po yung pong pondo para sa team building activities